Dear friends, this is George Lees, who's been shut down for nearly a week because of my computer failure, and thank you ever so much to my friends from Belgium for fixing my computers for me. Yeah, despite the scams of Amazon in all of the delivery aspects of that. Okay, I'm now back online and I'm going to tell you the sad story about Robin Hood, the revolutionary character in the period when we were in the Crusades, in the massive battles at Acre. Yeah, and that is the 100-acre wood joke that I've already told you. All of it gets replayed through human history, and the Longchamps is the racecourse in Paris, in the Bois de Boulogne, which is owned by the Rothschilds through the whole of World War II. Yeah, you remember Mrs. Simpson going there for a rest home? Yeah, and Mrs. Simpson meeting Nixon after the war, and Nixon being interviewed by Frost, and all of the sad bastards interlocked to Longchamps. Yeah, and that is the joke that I'm going to tell you today. This is the concept that Longchamps was the regent for Richard the Lionheart when he was in the Crusades, in the Third Crusade, brutalizing Israel, yeah, on behalf of Jesus Christ, who never lived. And that's the Piso joke again. Okay, let me show you now the beginning. This is me, just in case I get taken down, and I'm wearing my American Brotherhood sorority gear tonight, yeah, because this weekend in Scotland we have got the scandal that the golf course where my sister lives, and I met my sister in the supermarket the other night, the golf course where my sister lives is still not letting, that's Muirfield, is still not letting women play on the course. Yeah, all of it is a cover for Nicola Sturgeon's illegitimacy and the fact that she too is a Schnapper Rothschild, yeah, with Alex Salomon Rothschild. The politicians in Scotland have nowhere to go. And I'm going to tell you the stories that my friends in the pubs have told me about John Lamont being a homosexual, and the person who is the massive fraudster that is John Travolta now becoming a cross-dresser to cover the stories that I'm going to tell you in a much shorter video later on. Wait for that one. This is much more serious. It's the asset stripping of Britain's sovereignty and its kingdom, yeah, by French people and German people and Austrian people in particular. They come into this story immediately. Okay, I'm putting this in first in case I get. And Errol Flynn is from Northampton, where I told you about all of the heroes coming from. Yeah, where Lady Diana lived at Althorpe, right next to Northampton Rugby Club, and I went there with the Blackheath team, and I was on the bench that day. I never got onto the pitch in this massive place that is the treasonous place. Yeah, so Errol Flynn is a citizen of Northampton, and the Northampton jokes are the Corby steel town, where all of the people from all over Europe become the militias for the British monarchs, who are not British at all. Through all of the history, that's the Anglo-Saxons getting replaced by the Rothschilds' arrows on the Hastings beach. Okay, so this is the launch of Robin Hood, and this is the role that I'm now playing, although I do not butcher anything, yeah, and I do not openly storm in on people in their meeting places. Yeah, if someone were to do that to the Scottish Borders Council and in the Scottish Government, it would be really easy to fix the world and to make our country prosperous again by banning the newspapers and issuing currency from the printing presses that they use. It's melodramatic. So this in part is the men in tights John Travolta joke. Yeah, it's the legend that is the Nottingham Forest and the Lincoln Green for the revolutionary people. It's actually German green. Yeah, but the Austrians are the key players. That's the Bears and the Rothschilds. Do you get it? That's the Rothschilds, Rotten Roses, Elkanan, with the Elkin icon hanging over his shoulder, just like the Life of Brian movie, where the donkey is Jesus and he's not feeling well when his mum goes to the stoning. Yeah, same sad jokes. And the race course that is called Longchamps is the place where they have the Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe, yeah, the Ark of the Covenant, the Holy Grail. All of the history is the same fucking story, and it's quite boring when you learn that and you have to go over it again and again for the people that are too busy with the sport, yeah, to understand how they're being defrauded by stupid people that are really greedy and criminal, like John Lamont, MSP. Okay, here we go. I hope he litigates against me.
Greetings, Your Highness.
Elkanan.
You know, you should really teach Gisborne hospitality. I no sooner enter his castle doors there with a piece of meat than his starving servants try to snatch it from him.
Donkey's tail.
See them, Gisborne, they're worth it. The compliments of your royal brother, King Richard, God bless him. My bad faith. What sort of fool, Rascal? Robin? I like you. Gratified, Your Highness. I don't think Gisborne shares that sentiment, however. It does look sour. What's the matter, Gisborne? Run out of hangings? I know a ripe subject for one.
You'll excuse me, Your
Sit
Highness.
down, my dear.
Lady Marion, the Virgin at this stage.
I hope my lady had a pleasant journey from London.
What you hope can hardly be important.
What a pity her manners don't match her looks, Your Highness.
You hear that, gentlemen? Here's poor Gisborne so in love with Marion he daren't say boo to her. But this saucy fellow gives her better than she said.
Can you see the Rothschild arrows already? When we get the Blade Runner in the Pistorius jokes, every time he wins, yeah, same with the 100 metres champion in the Olympics, he goes down and does the Rothschild arrow symbolism. Yeah, the pipe is the alpine pipe for the people, and you'll hear in a few minutes that Leopold, the vicious Austrian cousin of Richard the Lionheart, has kidnapped Richard the Lionheart. And when I show you the bloodlines for the richest and the most powerful families for the world, he is in it. That's King John, and that is the Jean in the Freemasons jokes. That is Long John Silver. And the missing treasures. All of the time the treasure goes missing, and the heroes never get any of the treasures. Yeah, but the Rothschilds with the 5 arrows tuck it all away in their massive, unaccountable financial services frauds globally eventually. Every continent, every massive central bank on the globe becomes theirs with the 5 arrows icons, celebrating the launch of the brothers in what is only in the very fraudulent version of their archive a 200-year lineage. It is a massively ancient lineage, and it takes you right back to Leopold V in this story. Yeah, they kidnapped him after he was returning. That's King Richard the Lionheart. Yeah, through the Aegean region and up through the magic the Danube River region, which is Austro-Hungary, and it's the spark point for every great conflict. Yeah, and these are disputes with the papacies and all of the Holy Roman Empire, which is now owned by people that live in Austro-Hungary. Yeah, that is the Austrian Empire, which Hitler Rothschild inherited. Let's get on with it, because this is going to get copyrighted.
My lord and lady, I would like to present to you Sir Robin of Locksley.
King John. To be.
Sir Robin, permit me to present to you your host, Sir Guy of Gisborne, and our noble guests.
I'm deeply honored, Your Highness.
Have you had meat?
And with what I brought.
Well, sit down then, sit down there, opposite me. Get up, Sir Ivor, and give him your place.
Your Highness.
Get up, Sir Knight.
Come, Sir Ivor, out.
Bring Sir Robin too. At once, do you hear? Such impudence would support a mighty appetite.
True enough, Your Highness. We Saxons have little to fatten on by the time your tax gatherers are through. Be seated, gentlemen. No need to stand on ceremony on my account.
So you think you're overtaxed, eh?
Overtaxed, overworked, and paid off with a knife, a club, or a rope.
Why, you speak treason.
Fluently.
I advise you to curb that wagging tongue of yours.
The habit I've never formed, Your Grace. You know,
That one in the purple, yeah, which is the transition colour for the whole of world history, yeah, that's the plum colours, yeah, that is likely to be Longchamps the regent, yeah, although it's unlikely that Longchamps the regent, who was a cleric, and the Bishop of Ely would be dining with King John in the light of what you're about to hear.
we Saxons aren't going to put up with these impressions.
Prince John was the youngest brother of 5.
As you may know, my brother is a prisoner of Leopold of Austria, and from Leopold I have received a ransom demand of 150,000 gold marks. That means that you, my friends, must collect in taxes not 2 gold marks in the pound, but 3, and the money is to be turned over to me.
Why do you, Your Highness?
So 66% taxation, yeah, and we get a rough deal now from George Osborne. Yeah, it's absolutely ruthless, and all the poor people who don't have any income are starved and they're killed by the feudal landlords, and they are imposed as conscripts to fight those battles thousands and thousands of miles from home in the name of Jesus, who never lived.
King Richard appointed Longchamps regent.
I kicked Longchamps out. From now on, I am regent of England. But confound it, what are you all gobbling at? Is it so strange that I decide to rule and my brother is a prisoner? Who's to say I shouldn't? You, Sir Mortimer of Leeds?
Nor I, Your Highness.
You, Sir Boran?
Nor I, Your Highness.
You, Sir Rob of Durham?
My sword is yours, Your Highness.
All the treasonous places, yeah, I cannot find much on the Joyces of Durham, who are one of the latest groups of aristocrats to join in, and I cannot yet find any linkage to Lord Haw-Haw, who was a Joyce. Yeah, it's a massive set of treasonous acts through all of world history. All of the poor get killed in the name of everything that she calls treason. Yeah, it's the asset stripping of our country. No one except him was prepared to look after France because they were so busy extending their empire. Yet the Austrian Empire through all of European history is absolutely fucking massive. Until Hitler, Rothschild came along and despoiled the reputation in World War II, and they had to drop the swastika too.
What about our young Saxon cockerel here? What's the matter? Have you no stomach for honest meat?
For honest meat, yes. But I've no stomach for traitors.
You call me traitor?
You? Yes. And every man here who offers you allegiance. Your Highness. What else do you call a man who takes advantage of the king's misfortune to seize his power? And now, with the help of this sweet band of cutthroats, you'll try to grind a ransom for him out of every helpless Saxon. A ransom that'll be used, not to release Richard, but to buy your way to the throne.
Let me run those words down his throat, Your Highness.
Oh no. Later. Let him stop for a moment. And what do you propose to do?
I'll organize revolt. Exacted death for a debt. And I'll never rest until every Saxon in this shire can stand up, free men, and strike a blow for Richard and England. Have you finished? I'm only just beginning. From this night on, I use every means in my power to fight you.
Gifford,
sisters in the back. Okay, let me show you now the stunning audacity of the world historians to tell stories like that. I'm going to show you on my OneNote profiles the world owning bloodlines. That is confirmation that the Mitfords sisters are still alive, and some of them married into that massive Chatsworth house. But let's show you the Longchamps jokes first. Do you get it? It's the race course in Paris in Rothschild Bois de Boulogne. Yeah, and I want to show you the bloodline. And there's William de Longchamps, was a medieval Lord Chancellor, Chief Justiciary and Bishop of Ely, which is right next to Cambridge and the corrupted place that is the University of Cambridge. All of the frauds of the double agents and the lethal people who trained in Cambridge as spies for World War II under Fleming, and the massive frauds. Okay, so do you get the Longchamps joke about Longshanks, who's in the bloodline? I'm going to show you just a few generations on, and it's a massive belly laugh for the elites who are still in charge of the world, and all of them are in those bloodlines who are running for president in America. Okay, I think it's on one of those tabs down below. That's Richard the Lionheart's tab. Here it is. Okay, now if you play my video, and what I should have shown you is that there's time for that. Okay, this is the video I made on Piso, Windsor, pound, Bush World Owners Part 2, World Wildlife Fund, Greenpeace and Global Ownership. Okay, that is King Henry II, the father of those 5 brothers that include Prince John, who you've just seen, declaring that he intends to become King John. And that is the Jean Freemason jokes. That is the Jean in the Pirates of the Caribbean, and all of the stories I've told you about Montmory and Jean and the Solomon's Temple. All of the Freemasons jokes are rerun all through world history. Look closely at the face of that man, and you are looking in Paul McCartney's mirror. That's the Liverpool treason. And they become the trainers of Hitler in Liverpool in the lead up to World War II. Actually in the period immediately after World War I. Okay, and this is the bloodline for the world owners. I'll take it up a little bit. So there we have Geoffrey Plantagenet. That's the Plantagenets for whom the icon is the broom that was used at John F. Kennedy's funeral. That is Longshanks' dynasty. It is William the Conqueror's dynasty, and they are massive murderous people, and all in the name of Christianity, with the scepter, with no snake around it this time. It's much more subtle at that stage, but that is King Henry II, the father of Richard the Lionheart, who is not got any mention in the world owning bloodline, because he spent his whole life abroad fighting in battles that may never actually have happened, like Napoleon, because Napoleon is the Napoleonic Naples story, which becomes Nepal and the earthquake there for all of the Freemasonic pressmen who run the world totally as a fraud. Look at the images of Rupert Murdoch's marriage to that Hall woman. All of the fraudsters are there. Michael Gove, or whatever his name is, who was the education minister, is the joke about God. All of them are twats, and all of them are leading the world with no contention, because the world's people are so stupid. Okay, early life. Richard was the 3rd son of Henry II and Eleanor of Aquitaine. Okay, that's my story, and then I implant the bloodline of the world owners that takes you all the way back to the Pisos, who falsified the Bible and then invented Islam. They wrote about the Garden of Eden and the holy lambs that get brutalized through all of world history, right up to the very day that I'm making this video. Okay, watch that video, George Lee's Zadok the Priest, on YouTube, and you will see all of the Roman noses and all of the Jewish noses on all of the monarchs since 1066. Yeah, and the striking likenesses to the people that we have in the treasonous teams even today. That's Lord Macartney of Liverpool and his links to Muhammad Ali in India. Okay, here's the Porhet joke, and Eleanor of Aquitaine. Yeah, she's one of the most beautiful women, and she is the mother of the children of that king that we've just seen. He had two wives, like King John did. Okay, so Henry II had Alex de Porry and Eleanor of Aquitaine as his breeding chamber people. Okay, and there is the next bloodline, which includes not King Richard the Legend. There he is depicted in his Red Cross uniform. Yeah, it's the same set of jokes. The Red Cross get deployed in the laundering of the gold in World War II and World War I because they're from Switzerland and they proclaim themselves to be strictly neutral. Okay, the French connection takes you right into the foothills of the Alps, and I'll show you that later on. Okay, so this is King John that you've just seen bragging about how he's going to replace his brother, yeah, and how his brother is already imprisoned in the Rothschild Austrian, yeah, owned prisons because he chose to return to Europe up the blue fucking Danube, and that's the launch of World War I, World War II, and all of the strife around the Crusaders returning from the brutalization of the Saracens and all of the indigenous people in the Holy Lands. Yeah, and God's rules are that you must love your neighbour. I think there were 7 great crusades, massive massacres. Okay, so do you get the irony of it? Richard the Lionheart is not on the world owning bloodlines, but the treasonous King John and the traitorous one who suppresses the revolutionary people in Sherwood Forest is in the bloodline that leads to George W. Bush and HRH, the Windsor Germans. Yeah, King John 1199 to 1216. Okay, he's in the bloodline, and I'll take you down to all of the people that I love. Yeah, because this is the Scottish connection of the bloodline. Son of Henry II, married Isabella of Angoulême. Yeah, and that's the same Isabella that was further up, and she's an incredibly potent woman. Over a dozen children, many of them females. Okay, so that is actually entered twice, I believe. If you look back up at the top, you'll see that she was chosen by both the father and the son to be the wife and the mother of 2 generations of the children. Yeah, it's incredible. Yeah, that's not a typo by me, and it's in the Wikipedia entry across there. Okay, so do you get it? That takes you all the way down, if you keep going, to George W. Bush. It takes you to Edward I Longchamps, the racing course by the Rothschild mansion in the woods, in the Bois de Boulogne. Yeah, it's the woods for Jesus' cross. Yeah, and the Christian crusades are just to keep the poor people's numbers down. Okay, this is the Galloway, the George Galloway, John Patterson crowing like the cock. Yeah, after Jesus had been executed. Yeah, because he now gets interviews with George Galloway. Yeah, and Russia Today are the people that release all of the false news to cover the massive lineages, and the Russian monarchs are very closely related to Elizabeth Bowes-Lyon, who's a lie, who's not actually a monarch at all. She's the maid from downstairs. And here's Uchtrecht of Galloway, Gunhild of Dunbar, where Archbishop O'Brien, yeah, the B-Arian, comes from. He's the paedophile that shags all the kids but never gets taken to justice. Yeah, do you get it? That's the Archbishop O'Brien of Dunbar. The world owners are using him as their cover. Yeah, Eleanor de Morville, Alan Lord of Galloway, daughter of Hugh de Lacy, Earl of Ulster. That's sectarian Ireland, where they know way back then that there is no Jesus. Yeah, Roger de Quincey, and here's the Commons. I love them. Yeah, they're absolutely beautiful. But she's spoken for, and I will let her alone. Yeah, and they are very spirited people. Okay, they are the ones that were murdered by the Bruces in the bloodline. So you can see that all of the really bad guys survive, like George Bush's lineage, right through world history. And there's the Umfravilles of Redesdale, who are the other tab. That's the Mitfords of Redesdale. Yeah, the Umfravilles, John Humphreys, and all of the jokes. Yeah, the Gilbert Trust, that is the Rothschilds' Gilbert Trust for their collections of war treasures. Okay, are you getting it? And there's the Burradon joke, which is the launch of a New World Order composer, and his music is absolutely spellbinding, and it shows you the ancient territories in the Orient and across in Mongolia that were the massive empires that were conquered only by Alexander the Great, who's right at the very top of that bloodline. Yeah, right back in 350 BC, and the tall boys are the people that are the wardrobe jokes, and be in the wardrobe for Gordon Bowden and all of the Alice in Wonderland stories. Yeah, take you into the Hiltons of the hotel chains, and Burradon is actually the places at Middlesbrough. Yeah, and that is where the Auf Wiedersehen piss stakes take place, and that is where the piss stakes involving the Humber Valley, yeah, and the estuary of the Humber is a massive joke about these bloodlines that own the world, own the churches, and faked up the messianic religions in Islam, in Constantinople, yeah, and in Naples, where Christianity was defrauded. 79 AD, when Vesuvius exploded on their home. Okay, so do you get it? What you've got in that period when the Frenchies come across with the Christian cross, telling all the lies about what the Pisos have done, they live in places called the Chateau Le Pin, with the Piso code words in it. Let's go to the top of this tab and see if we can take you through it. And I'll take you to the Mitfords tabs just to show you what they get up to. They're lovely people. I met them. 3 beautiful looking women, yeah, looking a little bit sheepish behind their horse truck at the 3-day event last Friday. That's a week ago today. Yeah, and when I said to them, which stable are you? Your horses are lovely, and I love the colours on your uniform. They said, oh, we're from the Mitford stable. Yeah, and that stable is in it is in one of the Northumbrian towns that we used to visit so frequently. It's incredible. Morpeth. Yeah, so the Mitford stable is still intact in Morpeth, Northumberland, within minutes of a drive up the A1 to the Duke of Northumberland's massive pile that is the Harry Potter castle, and all of the holdings of Commoner Kate's family up in that region near Berwick. Yeah, there's Ely Cathedral, the place of residence for the regent to the king when the king was brutalising the whole of the Holy Lands in the name of Jesus, who never ever lived. Okay, do you get it? That's the Prince Regent who's in charge of false religion near the place which launches Christ's College Cambridge and all of those other massive religious jokes. Christ's College Cambridge is where Ali G was trained to be the cover for the High Priests of Israel as a Baron Cohen. Okay, so let's show you what the tabs are and I'll get the gist of the story over. So that's the regent for Longschamps. There's Longschamps, who does not appear in the world owning bloodlines. Yeah, he is captured and coerced, yeah, so that Britain has to pay a massive reparation to the Austrian Leopold, which is also the same joke as the world owning Calpurnius Piso surviving lineages. Yeah, that's the Roman emperors and Caligula. Yeah, and the films that have been made by actors like Richard Harris. Yeah, he's made films about Caligula, who's the bastard parent of the most powerful and fraudulent man that the world has ever known. Yeah, Caligula the emperor sired through Poppaea, yeah, that's the poppy joke every Remembrance Sunday. Yeah, he sired Arius Calpurnius Piso, and all the jokes lead from that. That's the Panzer Regiment, Pussycat, Pussycat for Tom Jones, and everything sucks. Yeah, it's the same sick jokes. Okay, and you heard him talking about the cockerel that is the revolutionary robin, and you know now that the robin is the icon for the red caps. Yeah, in the military police, in all of the treason, in all of the battle fronts all around the world. And it is the launch of the communist and labour movement. Yeah, the red robin keeps bobbing along. Yeah, and that's the the red flag flying song, which is exactly the same tune as the tune for Tannenbaum. That's the Christmas tree pyramidal icon for the Egyptian pharaohs who are in the bloodline, which he does not make it into. Yeah, all of the world's history leads you to believe everything that is false. Okay, so there's, let me show you a little bit more further down. What else have we got to pin on him? That's the bloodline, okay, that leads to George Bush. And there is all of the Christian, yeah, that is the iPod thing, that's the iPod, and that is the things where they carry the Holy Grail and all of the war treasures for the victors, as long as you support the one true God. And God does not like wars, which is why all of these people die really sad deaths. Okay, and what have we got? Sicily, the Holy Land, it is ancient. Yeah, and all of it is totally, it needs to be revealed, it needs to be stopped. Yeah, they're still trying to do it. Saw John Lamont in the supermarket today. Does not talk to me, does not even look me in the eye anymore. Okay, this is now King John. Okay, so there is their territory. Yeah, it takes you right across into the west side. It does not show you that there, and I forget what the place names are across there, but we've got pictures of them later on. Okay, and here's all of their territory. This is the lands of King Richard the Lionheart in France, and he goes way to the south to fight against people that are nothing to do with the land that they've invaded. Yeah, and there is where World War I was started. Yeah, the skirmish there, the killing by General Piso of the people, yeah, from the German troops, and that is the launch of the massive massacres. Okay, and there's the Le Mans territory, that is the race courses for the Formula 1 people, and all of the massive jokes. There's the road to ruin. This is Hillary Clinton's Normandy. Okay, no secrets there, but let me show you where the Lombard region is. Yeah, that's the Alpine region, getting closer to Austria. Henry married the powerful Eleanor of Aquitaine. Yeah, there are no pictures of them, there is no surviving artwork. It could all be a story from the Rothschild pen. Yeah, all the power of the Piso, the papyri and the plume, yeah, that leads the whole world to believe that Jesus is now more powerful than all of the gods that created our universe. Most believed that Henry would divide the empire, giving each son a substantial portion and hoping that his children would continue to work together as allies after his death. To complicate matters, much of the Angevin Empire was held by Henry only as a vassal of the King of France, of the rival line of the House of Capet, which is a chicken, by the way, in the jokes about the Piso menagerie. Yeah, and the cock crowing 3 times, and all of the things that take you into the Tar Boys stories, and all of the jokes through all of the history, about even into the films that were made about the attempts to assassinate Hitler near the end of the war. That's Richard Harris again, and that is the Tar Boys joke. Yeah, that is the Brer Rabbit stories, and that is the patch of land with the prickly growth in it, and that, believe it or not, is the joke about the Tar Boys, and all of it is the bunny that is Hitler's friend. And what I was going to show you on that other tab is the links to the 100-acre wood, the massive battles at Acre in the Holy Lands, and there is the video that I made on Operation Winnie the Pooh. Yeah, that's the 100-acre wood. This is Hallett, Hitler was a British agent, and Operation Winnie the Pooh Part 1. Okay, that's Eva Braun's little blue dress. Yeah, and all of it is a massive belly laugh at the genocide. Okay, Operation Winnie the Pooh, that video, it's got 2,000 views already, and that explains to you every one of the double agents in World War II. Ian Fleming, all of the stories about Admiral Godfrey, all of the stories about the Stammering King, and all of them given names in that cast. And the Muppet operation is just a joke about the Rothschilds partitioning of all of the land when they were called the Bears, yeah, right through from the 11th century to the present day. Yeah, the hundreds are the divisions of all of the lands across all of the world. Okay, there's Hallett, Hitler, British agent, and Operation Winnie the Pooh number 2. All of it is run by Churchill and the warmongers who become the narcotic launderers as soon as the war is over. Yeah, and all of it is told in an extremely articulate way, and I'll just read out Greg Hallett's work. And that is a major shake-up for John Travolta. I'm going to tell you about that in a separate video. Now a cross-dresser from the world's sexiest man. Right then, so, and let me show you a little bit. Oh no, let's get through the tabs first, and then I'll show you the Mitford sisters highlights. Okay, this is the Longchamps joke in Paris. It is absolutely ruthless. Remember, the abdicated king went there. Okay, so there is the beautiful racecourse called Longchamps in the Bois de Boulogne, with the Piso icon, which is Omega, on the Paschal candle for the Roman Catholics. Yeah, and for the Episcopalian Church, because they use exactly the same template, because they are trying to pretend that they are not the Church of England, because they're based in Scotland. Yeah, they're based in America. It's the most powerful church in the world, and I came second in the religious quiz last night because I befriended a couple of Episcopalian people who are really, really intelligent, and they've got a globalized career path like most of the people that are in the globalism frauds. Really nice people. We came second. Okay, and there is all the fine art. So there are no pictures of the beautiful Eleanor of Aquitaine that was so beautiful that a couple of generations of the fraudsters wanted to shag her and bear her children. She had dozens of female children, all beautiful. There are no paintings of any of them. Yeah? And there's the place where the racecourse is, the hippodrome. Do you get it? That's the hippos for the Pisos, their icons, since they created and replaced the Greek gods by Jesus. Yeah? The hippo is the horse, it is the cavalry through everything I've told you, and it is, yeah, the massive tool before the Croupses and the warmongers came along and made their money out of munitions. Okay? There are no steeplechases. That's reverence to Christianity, yeah? They're not making the steeplechase joke for the massive churches that are all around them in the Bois de Boulogne. Yeah? Do you get it? The Piso icon all through the story. Let me show you where the Rothschilds' houses are. Yeah, and that archive is getting smaller and smaller every time I visit it. Do you get it? Alpha to Omega, the horse's hoof, yeah, the horse shoe, yeah, and that is the shoemaker jokes for the Warner Brothers and all of the people. And the quiz questions on Geppetto, the father god, in the Pinocchio film were quite ironic last night, I thought. Yeah, that's the belly laugh for all of the religious clerics that have completely replaced. Yeah, and the cleric who was the quizmaster last night runs a vaudeville radio program. Yeah, there is no devotion to God, there is no reverence to God, it's all a piss take. Yeah, and Longchamps is the royal regent and the Bishop of Cambridge or Ely all those years ago when the fraud was just hitting the ground and killing everybody that was a soldier in those massive Piso fraud-led armies. And can you guess what the Arc de Triomphe and the towers represent? Yeah, the cock and the fanny again. Okay, and that's the gallop. Yeah, the gallop poles, all of the horsey jokes become the political jokes, and the whole of the political world is a joke. Take my word for it. Yeah, the Longchamps racecourse. Let's go down and show you how that relates to the Rothschild mansion. Yeah, they have covered it up already in the 3 weeks since my computer began to fail. 29 Avenue de Bois de Boulogne, Paris. Yeah, right next door to Longchamps racecourse. Here it is. Okay, there's Adelaide. Yeah, the Adelaide is the Adele joke, and Edmund de Rothschild, and Edmund de Rothschild is the one who was the feature of my video on the massive frauds of the 99-year-old man who was part of the Panama Canal Robson agreement to get the contract to make a pan-continental canal, yeah, in that place. And it's the same contract as you've got in the Lawrence of Arabia film, where they suddenly pop up and the canal is right in the middle of the desert. That's the Suez Canal and the Suez Revolution, another set of lethal killings. Yeah, and that leads to Harold Wilson with the pipe bombing them and carpet bombing the Garden of Eden to keep the BP plant in our hands. Inevitably it's in the Rothschilds' hands. Yeah, and that's the typical balance sheet for all of their frauds. This is the house was built in the Bois de Boulogne right next to Longchamps racecourse, and it was built by the designer Walter Andre Distillier. Yeah. Okay, and those are all the jokes about the Johnny Walker being in the presidential bloodlines that we've just shown you. It is a massive piss take, and this is another. So that is the castle that they had, which has now been taken down, and I forget what the link was to the name that I'm about to show you. Let's see if I can find it. their daughter Alexandrine inherited the house, and it's in the Rue Leonard, de Vinci, and the Avenue de Bois de Boulogne, now the Avenue Foch, with the intention of building a townhouse there. Okay, and I can't remember what the link is in the Rothschild archive, but it's on the Google Maps when you look for it, and it is overtly a cover for one of the Forbes rich list people who's worth 38.1 billion. That's the aged Lillian Bettencourt and family. Okay, 38 billion on the Forbes rich list. Poor Rothschilds don't need to declare that they have anything at all. Right, so there is the Bois de Boulogne now, replaced by Piso, condominiums, the condominium, all of it, the floor, the underfloor heating ads that you get when you search for any of my themes on the internet now are all the same joke. That's Floor's Castle for Guy Aeneas Jesus Kerr. That is the condominium that has replaced the massive Rothschild mansions in the Rue Foch, in the Bois de Boulogne. Same story with the massive genocide that was Stalingrad. The condominium joke and the massive bombardment by the Allied troops once Hitler Rothschild had declared that he had given up and that they were free to invade without any risk. All of that leads to Eva Braun's escape through the little blue dress deployment, and all of her body doubles were murdered, and all of them had rotting teeth, and the whole story has been told by me with 2,000 hits and by Greg Hallett for 20 years from the South Pacific. When he came here they topped him, and all of his themes have changed. It's amazing. Okay, so there's the Bois de Boulogne, and there is the massive Rothschild mansion in it. You see it? Lovely green Paris. The green roof that is so familiar on all of the other mansions that we've shown you because of their affiliation to Germany and Frankfurt. Can you hear the sports cars? Our town is littered with sports cars. All of them have the Piso codes on their number plates, and they think they're really hilarious and powerful still. Okay, condo now, 29 Avenue, Bois de Boulogne, right next door to Longchamps racecourse. Okay, and there's another one looking a little bit more like the Austrian master races template. That's the Otto Buren Abbey template. And Bill Nye's songs about Christmas, and it is absolutely sickening. That is the treason of all of the people who attempted to kill Hitler before the end of the war. Okay, let's get quickly through these other tabs, and then I'll take you. So sorry, that's just what we've just looked at. Here's the Bettencourt woman. Okay, and the links to, so this is the links to the older linkage to the family beyond the Rotten Roses, and the woman who is Schnapper Rothschild, who is married to Nathan Mayer Rothschild, who is the father of the legendary 5 Arrows characters that go to London, that go to Vienna, that go to Naples, that go to Paris, and that go to I forgot my 5th one. Paris, London. No, I can't remember. Anyway, and that's the 5 Arrows for Enid Blyton. There is Mike Mayer. He undoubtedly is the Mayer Bacharach linkage, and he's the spy who shagged me in all of the trivial things and all of the output. Same actor right through it. That's Madonna getting her ass kissed by Mike Meyer, the spy who shagged me. That's Burt Bacharach singing in front of the microphone. That is the Rothschild Bacharach family, and that is the the Elkanah families that are the Rothschilds before they proclaim themselves to be the Rothschilds, and after they were the Bears. Can you see how the M replaces the B, and how the Bear was spelt that way in Hertfordshire, in the rolls of Hertfordshire and Gloucestershire, way back in the 1100s. And there's the German cousins. Yeah, his dad is Fred Christ Trump. Okay, and Bettencourt is the woman who's on the rich list. I'm not sure what the linkage to that is. The world's billionaires. Okay, Lillian Bettencourt and family. Yeah, she runs the L'Oreal perfume empire from Paris, France still. And she's on the Forbes rich list in 2016. The Rothschilds never ever appear on it. Yeah, so this is the L'Oreal empire, the New Orleans empire in revolutionary France. It's all a fascist. It's a fascist world. There is no revolutionary place other than my living room and the space between my ears, yeah, which is filled with facts about their treasonous actions since Robin Hood's story was told. Yeah, her children own 33% of the cosmetics empire that her father Eugene Schuller founded in 1907. Yeah, in 2011, a court placed Bettencourt under the guardianship of her daughter Françoise Bettencourt Myers. Yeah, yeah, there's the linkages, and that is the Myers that are the Hollywood actors. The elderly widow who suffers from dementia, God gives them all what they deserve in the end, was replaced on the company's board by her grandson Jean. Yeah, the Freemasonic joke that the money's going to come up some days, yeah, bankroll sometime through world history. Jean Victor Myers. Same stories as we had on Solomon's Temple and the Freemasons and Long John Silver. He is a massive part of the Panama Canal scam. I'm going to make that video in the next 4 or 5 days. Yeah, if I'm allowed to live that long. Okay, so here's the transition now to the Bears in the woods. Yeah, the Bois de Boulogne. Not very subtle at all, is it? Okay, this is also the Bettencourts, and the French Gallop, and the Piso horse is all through it. Okay, so Chateau Rothschild, Boulogne-Billancourt. Yeah, there's the link that I could not remember. Okay, that becomes the rich list. Yeah, the Rothschilds never appear there. Okay, le Château Rothschild est un château situé à Boulogne-Billancourt en France dans les, yeah, the Bois de Boulogne. Yeah, the rotting Rothschild mansion in Paris. Messy, chic. An artist interpretation of the Rothschild Chateau from the southeast entrance of Bois de Boulogne. Okay, le Château Rothschild Fantôme de Boulogne. Yeah, as if it's just a ghostly presence, and they're not really guilty of all of the warmongering in free Paris. Yeah, and their silk output is used there all the time. Okay, there it is, a massive pile, now rack and ruin for reputational reasons. Right then, and let's see if there's any more. It's still incredibly just the address, no pictures. They do not want you to know that this is Longchamps, that this is Longshanks, that this is the race course. Yeah, for the Piso icon, which is the horseshoe on the Catholic Paschal candle. Alpha to Omega, Arius, Calpurnius, Piso, first initial and last letter. Every Easter, every celebration of the non-existent Jesus' death at the hands of the world owners. That's not a myth, That is very, very real, and sadly they are still the world's owners and they're still genocidal. Bizarrely, this one, yeah, with 38.1 billion, has a palsy that makes her left revolutionary eye distended. Poor old Lillian. I should not make fun of her. She's in the she's in the asylum now because of her dementia. Might get to compete at the Paralympics. That's the last resort for them. Here's the race course that is the massive Longchamps. Yeah, the Champs, GG's at the Longchamps. Yeah, it's called the France Galop. Yeah, all of the able Gons, Boulogne, Billancourt, France. Yeah, and there is some linkage to Delanoy and the FDR Christianity fraud again. There's another Dutchman in town, massive guy. Okay, right then, so and here's the website for the racecourse. Beautiful, beautiful place. Oh no, that's what downloaded first. Yes. The legal aspects, yeah, it's the massive frauds, and they totally control all of the hearings at Nuremberg. French Galop, produced by France Galop, in nothing sinister there. Okay, just an ordinary racecourse scam. Yeah, another way to cover up all of the false news. Okay, and I don't think I've highlighted anything on that. Okay, let's now take you into Northumberland, where Hitler's friends were the Mitford sisters. Okay, that's Hitler's friends that were the rabbits in World War II, that were the Winnie the Pooh joke and all of it about Rabbit being stuck in the hole because he's so full of war treasures and the loot, yeah, and the honey in the proceedings that were all of those massive war treasures, the Nazi gold, all of the gold into Fort Knox, all of it donated by the citizens who are scammed in the Lend-Lease and are killed in the conflict. And that becomes the little blue dress, as I've told you again and again and again, for Bill Clinton's affair with Monica Lewinsky, and when his spunk was on it, it's in the form of Winston Churchill's rabbit sign, yeah, the Winnie the Pooh, yeah, and the rabbits being Hitler's friends, double agents all. Thank you to the Flemings for still talking to me in my town. Yeah, poor things, they've had loads of pathologies imposed on them, yeah, and they know that there is only one way out of it now, I think, yeah, unless I get the bullet in the head. There are loads of people that are going to have to be called to account for that. John Lamont, you've never let me meet you once in an official meeting where minutes could be taken under a copyright agreement, yeah, that you all use as cowards in the political sector. Yeah, this is the killing of 45 million people up to 1945 and 80 million people up to 1918, when Oxford was the warmongering extension, and all of the Princeton scams I've explained to you already. Yeah, that is red ice radio in the Scandinavian countries, and all of them know these deepest secrets. He will not talk to me. I believe there are strong links in his investigative journalism to the monarchy in those countries. Okay, and that's the Denmark links that lead to the man who was the head of NATO's armies and is, like John Travolta, alleged to be a cross-dresser, because none of them have the courage to tell the truth about any of their politics, which are scams against the people. There's Hitler, Rothschild, and the global icon for the world's Freemasons. And you can see that if you take one of those limbs off the swastika, it becomes the three legs for the Isle of Man, which was Alex Salomon Rothschild's preferred funding model for Scotland. Their massive fraudsters and thieves. Salmond is not a mass murderer, but he's complicit in the crimes of Tony Blair and all of the Westminster government, because he, as a Scottish loyalist, could have exposed them were it not for the fact that he and Sturgeon are Rothschilds. Right, so the other tabs, and the Mitfords, they're lovely people. I was really excited to meet them, and they are really simple people. It was delightful. Yeah, and these are the people that were Hitler's lovers in the lead up to 1939 and all of those massive fascist encounters that occurred in Earl's Court, with all of the people goose-stepping through the building and all of them doing the Nazi salute and shouting Sieg Heil to Adolf Hitler Rothschild. And Chatsworth, I believe, is the Downton Abbey place. It's the home of the Dukes of Derby, and I'm going to show you how that is. The Mrs. becomes one of the Mitford sisters. There are not just two of them, there are dozens of them, because they breed like rabbits as Hitler's friends. Do you get it now? Yeah, the Dukes of Devon, they were not at the 3-day event last Friday. They were last year, and that is the duchesses and the people in the stables that look just like Marianne Faithfull. Yeah, that is the joke about the lover of Mick Jagger, which is the joke about the Jagir in India doing business with Lord Macartney of Liverpool. Yeah, all the slaving centres, all of the massive places where we treat the tar boys like Obama really badly in the bottom of those vessels, yet we send them out as cotton pickers, and then we send them back to be killed in the great conflicts. Totally engineered by Tom Hanks's bloodline, so that he, Tom Hanks Rockefeller, can make the movie On the Beach Head that all of the royals visited 70 years after the conflict was over. That's Prince Charles and all of the people that are in that bloodline that I've told you about. Let's get some of these tabs profiled. Okay, so that's one of the families that were one of the generations of the Mitford sisters, married to the Dukes of what did I just say? Derby. Yeah, and there is 11th Duke outside by Alan Warren. Yeah, the Rabbit Warren. Yeah, the Dilla Warren jokes and all of the Delaware, yeah, which are the tax havens. So this is a Mitford woman's husband, Andrew Cavendish, 11th Duke of Devonshire. Kind of poofy looking guy. Yeah, lovely neckerchief. Okay, and the handkerchief tucked away in his pocket like Mr. Bean had at the opening of the London Olympics. Okay, Prime Minister in his reign was, so he's the Minister of State for Commonwealth Relations 1962 to 1964. Guess what we carpet bombed in 1963 in the Garden of Eden? Yeah, do you get it? Delaware, Dilla Warren, yeah, yeah, and the Warrens with the rabbits, who are Hitler's friends in the Great Wars. Yeah, Sir Alec Douglas Home, the man who condoned with Harold Wilson the carpet bombing of the Garden of Eden for the BP plant, which is still there. Okay, let's go down another tab. You get the magnitude of it. Let's just see who his spouse was and what the name of the Mitford was. Cavendish was born 10th Duke, and he's the former it does not say who he married. So his dad and mum were James Gascoigne Cecil, 4th Marquess of Salisbury and the Duke of Devonshire. Okay, and there they are all over Africa, like the man we've just seen from the borders, who pretends that he's there to protect Africa. Yeah, massive plates and declarations of their attempts. Here she is. So he married the Honourable Deborah Mitford, 31st March 1920 to 24th September 2014 she lived, right up to when my website was designed. Yeah, I did not know that until this week. Let's keep going. So do you see it? The magnitude of Hitler's friends, yeah, being friends of the Warrens, and being in the regimes in the Garden of Eden, which is the Garden of Eden in the Piso Bible. It's massive. They cannot have a conscience at all, but now they realise that God's pathologies are inflicted on them for what they've done to the world. Adele, Astea, this is another Mitford. Okay, all three children die on the gurney, yet the bloodlines are extremely weak. The women looked really, really simple the other day, and I love them for that. Yeah, I do not like sophisticated people who are prepared to be premeditated killers and to steal from the whole world. Yeah. And on Facebook I have pasted that tab there to show you. You can look on my Facebook page at that tab there, which they've probably shifted, but this is about the Mitford sisters being part of the launch of the guiding movement, and being involved, and yet they have shifted it, bastards. Okay, so there it has already placed in exactly the right place, so you could see the images as the woman. Yeah, there is the Mitford sister, and are involved with Baden-Powell. Yeah, all of them are fascists. So there is the pharma's frauds involving the Coldplay singer and singing about Iverson in his song. He's a pharma magnate. Yeah, and all of that scams, and my mate, who was my old boss at Welcome, has been in the supermarket sucking me up all the time. Yeah. And there's the links to the Mitfords. Okay, it's Christian Aid Week. Good morning, Max Knight. Yeah, this is the Mitfords of Morpeth. Okay, and they are massive. So that's on the History Planet. Look up Mitford Sisters History Planet WordPress, or go to George Lees's Facebook page and click on that and see how the fascism, the paramilitary training is all linked to the Boy Scouts and the Girl Guides, and that's why the Mitfords wanted to be part of the leadership team in Northumberland, out of Morpeth, where they still run the stable. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. That's not a crime. Yeah, and I have no idea whether Hitler was a bad guy or a good guy. The whole of the Rothschild press are still in charge of all of the output and all of the lies that they tell. Okay, so Adele Astea. Yeah, so this is Fred Astea in America. The husband is the wife is a Mitford. Okay, Adele Astea, born Adele Marie Oster. Oh no, sorry, this is not a Mitford. She's a dancer and an entertainer, and she's also married to the Cavendishes of that massive castle that we've just seen. Okay, Chatsworth. Yeah, Adele Astea, born Adele Marie Osterlitz, was an American dancer, stage actress and singer. She was Fred Astaire's elder sister and his partner in a 27-year career in vaudeville and theatre, beginning when he was 5 and she was 8. And the bloodline is really, really fragile. What did I say about that at the top? All 3 children die on the gurney, like the stammering king in the story about the Windsors. That's the Windsors, still stammering on the W, just to let them know it was us. Yet the stammering king could not have viable children, and their children with the Bowes Lion woman, who's just the maid from downstairs, died. Sorry, the original woman who was the actual Bowes Lion, yeah, she had to flee to Denmark so that she could live her life with ordinary people who were competent and who could sire children that would not die like that. Yeah, remember Fred Astaire? All the singing in the rain jokes. Yeah, that's God's rain, totally written out of the Bible. Right, here's the Mitford family now. They're lovely, and there's dozens of them, like rabbits. I mean, I shouldn't have said that, because they were really lovely and charming and quite open with me. Okay, there they are. Jessica, Nancy, Diana, Unita and Pamela Mitford in 1935. Yeah, that's just 4 years before the 39th step to that 45 million people being killed. Okay, they died as recently as 1973, 1994. Yeah, there's a male lineage member, died at 35 years old. Okay, Diana Mitford lived right up to August 2003, when I was in getting ready to move to New Zealand, which is totally owned by the fascists in England still. Okay, Unity Mitford, she's, I forget which two. Diana was one of them. The Lady Di was Hitler's lover, and she died, born 1910 and died 2003. That's amazing. Yeah, and they're beautiful women, and so were the people that I met, 3 of them that I met at the races this week from Morpeth. Okay, and there are links to the Leeses. Okay, so Deborah married nephews. Jessica and Deborah married nephews by one of the most successful stately homes in England, Chatsworth. Jessica and Deborah married nephews by marriage of Prime Ministers Winston Churchill and Harold Macmillan. That's great, that's Hitler's lovers. Hitler is a Rothschild, Stalin is a Rothschild. Everybody knows that now, which is why I am locked in a corner. No one will employ me, and all he can do is keep repressing the news about what keeps the world evil and what means that none of the world's countries can be prosperous, because all of their central banks are run by Hitler's friends. Yeah, the rabbits in the Winnie the Pooh joke, and now the Canadian red caps. Yeah, that is the Mounties from Canada that are the Bank of England bosses. Massive salaries to steal from the people, like every country on our globe. Right, so here's another one. All of that is on Wikipedia, look it up for yourselves. Okay, what is this one? Lees Milne, Gloucester, Tetbury, Duke of Devon. Oh, so some of them are poofs and public school boys. Yeah. George James Henry Lees Milne was an English writer and expert on country houses who worked for the fucking Rothschild National Trust from 1936 to 1973. He was an architectural historian, novelist and biographer, and his extensive diaries remain in... Yeah, so this is the public school boys take it up the ass jokes. Yeah, Duke of Devon, and they're tainted in the dukedom by all of these public school boys' sins, yeah, against their bedroom partners. Yeah, let's get on. So that's my surname mixed in with these lineages. I don't believe it will be a relative of mine. Here is where I used to go with my children with the rugby club from Hexham. Yeah, that's Tynedale Rugby Club to Morpeth. Yeah, and there is the that's the healthcare centre. That's Magdalene Mitford. Yeah, that's Mary Magdalene from the Bible. And the Mitford Castle is just a ruin in Morpeth. There you have Deerhouse Farm. Yeah, and there you've got the mill places that are the millers and the grinding to bones. You've got Mole's Dinny, which is the dark-eyed Molly Jewish angel joke. Yeah, and Dark Eyed Molly was my favourite song by Eva Cassidy. You will not find that anywhere on the internet now, sung by Eva Cassidy. All her jokes are about religious frauds, about the Jewish master race, yeah, and about all of the American dream, about the come on the ship called the Mayflower, and all of the Twin Towers, and all of the school massacres that are named after Newtown, yeah. And all of that is the massive jokes about fascist England and the Borders region and the Newtown-led Borders Council. King Edward VI to school, yeah, stammering king. Isn't it lovely how integrated the story is in rural Northumberland, with the narcotics garden for Harry Potter just along the road. Yeah, and all of it, like Jesus and Innsbruck, is in the stable. Yeah, no room at the inn. Yeah, the stable is where the Piso horse and the horseshoe is the omega symbol on the Paschal candle. High Church, where is the rugby club? The rugby club is right in the heart of town somewhere. And it's Crake Park in this place, not Croke Park like the massacre scene in Ireland. Isn't it lovely, and how they keep the story trickling through? Okay, I thought we had a picture with the rugby club in it. I think the rugby club is there, right next door to the old stable, and it is still in use, and the horses are lovely, and the women were perfect, jodhpurs and all, and they did me no harm at all. I'd love to talk to them again. Okay, see, Mitford family, they've got their ancestral story on the internet everywhere. Mitford is also a part of the town, okay? And you can look at the Wikipedia entry for yourself. I'm gonna have to just look at the pictures for you because I'm gonna run out of time, okay? So it's, this is just the Mitford is a village in the borough of Castle Morpeth in the Wansbeck parliamentary constituency. That's the river that runs through it, is the Wansbeck. Okay, let's go to Morpeth and have a little profiling of the town. It's got a massive peel tower in the high street. I hope there's a picture of that. Okay, this is a PDF that I've downloaded, yeah, that has all of the history of Morpeth, and I don't think I had time to put pictures up top. Okay, so that's it takes you back to the archaeology even of the Mitford Castle in the region. Okay, nothing sinister there. I don't think I had time to add photos. Let's just go to the bottom just in case. Oh, I did. Oh no, so if you want to find out where the stable is, and I would love to, I'd love to talk to them. See if I could get a job as a stable boy. But I'd get ever so stammery with beautiful women like that. Okay, so further guidance, this is the people that are the archivists in Northumberland Conservation. Karen Derham, Nick Best. Yeah, and there's their email addresses. I can let anybody know if you want to get in touch with the Mitfords. Legendary families. Hopefully much more innocent than they were in the lead up to World War II. But even then, they're just beautiful women. Yeah, and we're still waiting for the greatest woman in the world to emerge as the American president. All of them are men, all of them are Freemasons, like the golf course at my sister's place. Here's the Joyces. This is my attempts to find the... So do you get it? The Mitfords are alive and well and breathing and still beautiful. And I believe some of them are in my hometown, and they're ever so sheepish since I released the news and placed it on my Facebook page. I think one of them is a postman, and she's the most beautiful of all. I get stammery when she passes by. Okay, here we've got Lord Haw Haw, the Joyce, yeah. Met a charming American called Joyce today, and we've got her contact details now. Yeah, she's from St Albans, like Bar